Hello again, everyone. I am still on a quest at home to make apple cider vinegar in several different ways. Now, there is one way you see on YouTube a lot, and I think it's kind of been labeled the lazy way to make it, and maybe not the most scientific way to make it, but I'm very curious to see how it would work. As I've discussed in other videos, when you make vinegar, you have to have alcohol first, and then you make the acetic acid. Well, in this process, we're combining both of those methods into the same jar. The way I look at it, though, would be cleaner and simpler, maybe not simpler, but cleaner, to make the apple cider, the alcoholic apple cider first, and then convert that into the vinegar. This just does it all at once. So I'm kind of curious to see how it's going to work. This, like the other processes, is anaerobic, meaning there's no oxygen allowed in contact with the fruit. And by the way, when you're fermenting, that's a thing. And sometimes you can take like vegetables and put them in a saline solution and and a brine, and then as long as you submerge all the vegetables with something heavy because they want to float to the top, you're going to be okay. And I suspect that's going to be the same with this. So with this method, you just take apples. These are Fuji apples, and you just cut them up. I'm not going to juice them this time. I guess you could. We're just going to put them in the jar. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to fill this jar with a little lukewarm water here, or even just some water. And the idea here is I'm going to dissolve this sugar in here first, because sugar is supposed to be added to this for a little extra boost. This is 2 tablespoons, might be way too much, I don't know. I don't think it matters a whole lot, but we'll go ahead here and stir that up. Just easier to dissolve that way, because once the apple's in here, it's going to be kind of hard to do. Then we drop those in there like that. And I've already got some that are pre-cut, so I'll drop those in there as well. And the goal is to get this filled not quite to the top, but almost. I use wide mouth jars. They're just easier to deal with. And you can use just about anything, really, because ultimately you're going to be covering this with just a little bit of cheesecloth. I'll take that one out right there, or a towel or a paper towel or something like that. And then I'm going to fill the rest of this up with water. And when I say fill it up, I don't mean all the way. I mean to the point where I can comfortably get the apples to go down. Now I can press them down and they'll stay, but they won't stay the whole time. Now one little secret I use is to take a red Solo cup and fill it with water. It's acting as a weight, actually. And I don't know how much I'll need, but if I just put that down right there, that effectively takes all the fruit and presses it down in the water. Again, we don't want it in contact with the air. So what happens after this? Well, your guess is actually as good as mine. From what I've seen, this is maybe several months worth of process here, where you have to keep, stirring these around a little bit. And again, there's 2 steps that have to happen in here. The alcohol has to be made, and then that alcohol is eaten by basically the bacteria that creates the acetic acid. So how this happens exactly, I'm assuming it goes to alcohol first and then goes to the acetic acid. Or do they happen at the same time? Scientifically, I don't know the answer, but it'll be fun to find out. So we'll just set this aside. In other videos, I'll give you an update on what happens with this particular method for making apple cider vinegar.